Seconds away on Studio 5, a New York City giant, Rashad Jennings is here. The athlete,
anyway, I'm gonna go work on my handstands.
And actor is now an author.
He was the first one as a Jennings that really took a step forward.
Sharing his emotional story in Studio 5, starting now. Welcome to Studio 5. Rashad Jennings is here with us today. So let's fire up the countdown of this week's uplifting entertainment news and get this show started. At number 5.
Meghan and Harry, now the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Faith-filled moments from the royal wedding, like American Bishop Michael Bruce Curry preaching.
Must discover the power of love, the redemptive power of love.
So darling, darling, stand by me.
Britain's Kingdom Choir singing. And 19-year-old cellist Shekukana Mason performing.
It's always inspiring to perform in front of a diverse audience and an audience that reflects what we see on our streets, and so that's really exciting.
At number 4.
I'm a Texas girl, and my home state has had so much heartbreak over this past year. And once again, y'all, we're grieving for more kids that have died for just an absolute no reason at all.
Fighting back tears, Kelly Clarkson opens the 2018 Billboard Music Awards with a tribute to the children and teachers who died in the Santa Fe, Texas school shooting. And she calls for action.
Obviously, we want to pray for all the victims. We want to pray for their families. And I'm so sick of moment of silence. Like, God, it's not working. So why don't we not do a moment of silence? Why don't we do a moment of action? Why don't we do a moment of change? Why don't we change what's happening? Because it's horrible.
This week's Studio 5 takes us to the Empire State as we're sitting down with a former giant, Rashad Jennings.
He's been preparing me everywhere he's taken me. And now to be in New York as a giant. I had to overcome many giants to now actually become a giant.
Number 23, Rashad Jennings has officially retired and bowed out of the NFL. And while he still spends lots of time in New York City pursuing acting and sportscasting, home is Lynchburg, Virginia, where he grew up and where he still gets to spend time with his favorite lady, his mom, Deborah. You spent Mother's Day at Thomas Road Baptist Church with your mom. What was it like sharing the stage with her?
It was absolutely phenomenal sharing the stage with my mom. It's something that you don't get a chance to do every day, and traveling around and getting a privilege to speak amongst different crowds and telling my story and knowing that my mother is a significant part of it. It's cool, really. It's a neat experience to do that with her. And it truly brought more emotion out of me. I was telling my friend earlier about how much when you do that with somebody that lived the story with you, you relive it as you're talking and realize that it's not just a story, it really happened, just how we said it. And it just brings back how much God can work in your life. So, having my mom there, because she's an angel of my life. She's a butterfly that's always happy and energetic, and she hates talking in front of people. And the fact that she actually did it made me happy.
You might say football is in Rashad's blood. Both his brothers played in the NFL. He's even named after a baller, former NFL player and sportscaster Ahmad Rashad. Seen with him here in this picture. Your dad chose to name you after the football player and sports commentator Ahmad Rashad. But the two of you had a challenging relationship. What role has that played in your success?
The name Rashad definitely came from Ahmad Rashad. My mother was okay with it because she looked up what Rashad meant, and it had a strong meaning of a counselor and a wise man. And so my mom was hopes that I would live up to meet the expectations of that name. But my father and I, we did not have the best relationship growing up. Now we do. It's a lot of restoration. But I have two older brothers, 10 and 13 years older than myself. I always say I was the whoops, here we go again, baby. And so I grew up with a different father than my brothers did. He retired from the military, went to alcohol and smoking cigarettes and kind of zoned out. So he was there, but physically, but mentally, I really grew up in the adolescent years without that. Really, this turning point was when I was 13 and I was hospitalized because of my asthma, blowing through a peak flow, only going a centimeter, and the doctors had told my father he can't smoke in the house or around his child anymore. And a week after, my dad was smoking outside, and eventually he started coming back inside. And it was one day I was in my bedroom, and I could smell the smoke seeping through the vents. And I started choking up. And I don't know if anybody's ever been underwater too long or almost suffocated, but it's a bad feeling when you can't breathe. And so I went up, knocked on the door, no answer. I opened it, he's in the corner drinking and smoking. 13 years old, this is the overweight, red rim glasses, chubby kid. I asked him, I said, Dad, can you stop smoking and drinking to be there for me? And he took a puff of his smoke, a sip of his drink. He said, Rashad, what do you want to do when you get older? Now, again, this is the first time my father and I ever really had interaction, so part of me is happy to tell him, and the other part knows he's just being arrogant. And so I looked at him, and I said, I want to play running back in the NFL. And he took a puff of his smoke, sip of his drink. He said, Rashad, you think you'll be able to make it to the NFL without drinking and smoking yourself? And with tears in my eyes, I looked at him, and I said, just to prove you wrong, I'm never going to do it. And I'm 33 today, never drank alcohol a day in my life, never smoked a day in my life, and it literally was just to prove him wrong. And in doing that, proving him wrong, he watched his little knucklehead kid do exactly what he said he was going to do, and it caused him to quit drinking and smoking. So in a strange way, my father and I feel like we both saved each other's life in that one little challenge. But if I didn't look at it that way, if I would have built up hatred, I wouldn't be having this interview right now. We have a great relationship now, and the restoration came when I was in my 20s. My father was hospitalized again. He had to get one leg amputated when I was 19, another when I was 25. And while he was in the hospital, I made a promise to him. I said, Dad, I'm gonna call you every night, and before I go to sleep, we're gonna pray together. Every night. And every night we did that for a month while he was in the hospital. I knew we were making headway when one night I didn't call him. All right, it was about 10 o'clock, and I usually called him around 9 because I know he wanted to get to sleep. And it's 10 o'clock, I was out on a date, and I forgot. My phone rings, and it's an unknown number. I picked it up, and he was like, hey man, we still gonna pray together? And I felt that. It's like, man, I've been wanting this relationship with my dad for so long, and all it took was for me to actually make the effort. It just goes to show, the things that you want to do in life, a lot of times it's going to cause you to make the first step.
And our chat with Rashad continues in just a moment. Right now, it is time for our photo of the week. This week's Studio 5 Snapshot is a People magazine exclusive. Take a good look. Recognize this man? Believe it or not, that's the handsome Boris Kodjoe. He's the latest actor to portray O.J. Simpson. It is a first look from the forthcoming film, Nicole and O.J. Still to come here on Studio 5.
Honestly, I don't even see us getting married anytime soon. You know what it's like when you're with somebody for a long time. You get comfortable.
Actor, athlete, and author. Our conversation with Rashad Jennings continues. Welcome back to Studio 5. It is time to fire up the countdown. At number 3, it is graduation season.
Please offer a warm Kent State welcome home to our commencement speaker, Dr. Michael Keaton.
And Ohio's Kent State University campus welcomes actor Michael Keaton to greet and encourage the class of 2018.
Always think of the other guy, as my mom used to say. Be thoughtful. honor decency.
But Keaton, who looked more like this when he attended Kent, delivered his most memorable 2 words when he returned to accept an award.
If I leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with these 2 words. And those 2 words are, I'm Batman.
And with that, Studio 5 congratulates all who are members of the class of 2018. At number 2. Rapper Ludacris and his wife and family are thanking God in the middle of their pain.
I am definitely one of those people that don't regret anything that's ever happened in my life because I 100% believe that everything happens for a reason.
His wife is sharing the family struggle following a heartbreaking miscarriage.
You got to take the good with the bad. The failure is a part of success. Sometimes you get knocked down, you got to get back up. I feel like that's what molded me and made me the person that I am today.
In this Instagram post, Eudoxie writes, "It was very easy to complain and have self-pity, but I refused to let the enemy win. How could I complain when God has already blessed me with the opportunity to already experience motherhood? Thank you, God, for your favor over my life." And right now we are continuing our conversation with Rashad Jennings. So how does an asthmatic, overweight teenager with a 0.6 GPA become a successful running back?
Yeah, I don't know. You got any ideas? There is a point where I stopped blaming people. And I started taking ownership and responsibility, truly. I had so many excuses, so many reasons of why it was everybody else's fault, why I was not succeeding in school, you know, why I couldn't get the certain weight that I wanted, you know, why I couldn't run faster. I always had an excuse for everyone else. And it became a point in my life where I truly stopped blaming anybody. I started looking in the mirror. And, you know, there was something that was said before, heard it many a times, but it resonates with me strongly, that we should definitely be on our knees praying, that it all depends on God. And we got to get up off our knees and go work, as it all depends on us. And when I heard that for the first time, that truly resonated. We wait on God to do things that He already gave us the ability to do. And one of those is never to make excuses. Get on your knees and pray, as it all depends on Him. Get off your knees and go work like it depends on you.
It's advice and stories like these Rashad is sharing in his new book, The If in Life, How to Get Off the Sidelines and Become Your Best Self. At what moment did you recognize the power of the word if when it comes to life?
Major question. Well, I titled the book, The If in Life, and it was a play on words. That's because the word if is in the middle and the foundation of the word life. So I wanted to extract that one little itty bitty word that has so much power and talk about it. If I didn't have a loving mother, if I would have chose to respond to racism the wrong way, if I didn't have God at the center of my life. And I go through 15 different chapters, intimate stories, hilarious stories, motivational stories, sad stories of how this one word pops out in life all the time. And it's gonna challenge and convince every reader who reads it to find their own if. And once you do, life started to make a little bit more sense.
Now, this really is your first official season in the NFL as a retired running back. How are you feeling?
You know, yeah, this is definitely the first season of retirement, and I feel great. I don't know if that sounds bad to be able to say that or good, but I feel great. And I think I feel great because I gave it everything. I have no regrets. I can't think of one day, one night where I'm like, man, I wish I would have gave it more effort. None of that. And also, I've always said that if I'm only remembered as an NFL running back, in my book, I'm a failure, truly. I knew football was going to be only for a moment in life. Even a very long career is short. It was a platform. It was a child's dream. It's opened up doors that a degree would never have allowed on its own. It's allowed me to see the U.S. and all the cities. It's beautiful, truly. But walking away from it, I feel like I'm just starting life now. You know, I get to start writing books that I've always wanted to do. I get to pick up different arts and crafts and take it serious, things that I've always wanted to try. And I get to spend more time with loved ones. That loved one is a funny thing because I feel like I've been trying to, for the last 8 years professionally as an athlete, I've been trying to build a life. I've been trying to build a life for and to spend time with loved ones. But in doing that and building the life that I want to spend time with loved ones, I've been away from them. And so it feels amazing now to, you know, walk in those fruits, to watching nephews grow up and try to chase the dreams that you've accomplished. And I do feel like life, you want to live a life worth mimicking. And now I get to do that outside the game.
Up next on Studio 5.
Rashad made the decision that he was coming home. It's gonna make me cry. So right.
My dad gave up his life for his family, and I felt in college it was my time to give up my dream for him.
Rashad Jennings dances for his father.
Keep up the good work and win, man. Whatever you do, we love you.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We have made it to the final headline in this week's countdown. Ad number 1. It's your first look at the new CBS series, God Friended Me.
New York City, home to 8.6 million people. Everyone searching for meaning and answers. There is no proof of God anywhere in the universe. We will debate that and more on today's episode of The Millennial Prophet. I am your host, Miles Finer, reminding you that there is no God and that is okay.
Per usual, you're misinformed. You grew up in the church. You know this better than anyone.
Yes, it is true. My father's a reverend. We got the whole Luke Vader dynamic going on. I thought I had it all figured out. But then something happened and it changed my life forever. I got a friend request from God. What?
The show from Alcatraz creators is called a funny, uplifting series exploring questions of faith, existence, and science.
I think you just saved my life. Thank you.
Nice try.
And this outspoken atheist finds his world turned inside out from that fateful friend request from God.
You either believe or you don't.
Or you recognize that there's something greater at work here. I don't know, some grand design connecting us all.
There is no grand design.
You know, it's kind of like the prodigal son, except God is using Facebook to bring you and Dad back together.
You see what growing up in a house of religion does to the mind?
Rashad Jennings isn't just a former star running back for the New York Giants. He holds the Mirrorball Trophy as the season 24 champion of Dancing with the Stars.
And now, please welcome tonight's guest judge, Rashad Jennings.
Following his Mirrorball win, Rashad returned to Dancing with the Stars as a judge. And as you can see, it was a welcomed return. You resisted the idea of ballet as a kid when you saw the uniform. So what did you think when Dancing with the Stars came calling?
Yes, I did. I resisted ballet when I was a kid. I don't know why. I guess just like any kid, you're like, man, I'm not wearing those tights. Well, it's funny because I played football and I wore tights. So I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't. But so doing Dancing with the Stars, no, I loved it. I went in 100%. I went in with the sparkles and like I was the person asking for all the sparkles on the coat and the shoes and the jacket. They thought they were gonna have to convince me. Actually, they had to convince me to calm it down.
When you looked over your shoulder, for a minute I forget that I'm older. I wanna dance with you right now.
But it was a blast getting to dress up for Disney Week, like Beauty and the Beast, doing the 24K. I had an inspiration of Elvis and Michael Jackson in the costume, and it was just an amazing experience.
Oh no, Did I get too close? Oh, did I almost see what's really on the inside?
And this, Rashad's dance tribute to his dad, moved the audience and judges to tears.
I wish somebody would have introduced me to dance when I was younger. I think I would have been a better football player. What's awesome between football and Dancing with the Stars? Football, you can win regardless of who hates you. I can go into a city, me and my teammates, we're gonna go win. We can get booed, but we still won. Dancing with the Stars, you only win because people like you. There's no other way to win.
If you could go back and talk to young Rashad, what advice would you give the childhood you?
If I could go back and talk to the young Rashad, what's up, little man? I see him, and I see him a lot, and I actually, dedicated the book and part of it to him, along with my mom, my family, and everything. I dedicated it to that 12-year-old kid that was in the corner crying, lost. I feel that in life today, I'm always hitting him on his chin, looking at him in his eyes, saying, I got you. And just keep doing the right things, and you'll find out that the world is round. It'll come back to you. I would remind him, don't let anybody define you. If you give them the opportunity, they will. When opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare for it. I will remind him that whatever it is you want to do in life, I promise you, it's going to show up at least 3 solid times, at least. It's just going to be a matter if you were ready for it. So keep your head up and have fun.
Keep your head up and have fun. Some great advice for us all. That tune you hear in the background is from one of my favorite singers and songwriters, Jonathan McReynolds. And by popular demand, he's released the music video of his live recording of the single. Take a look at why it's playing in my ear.
I love how we wrote my life, and I love how he sees my heart. So I fall to my knees and I say that I'm grateful when every morning starts. So I don't thank my lucky stars, 'cause that's not where my blessings are. No, they come from the Father's heart, not the sky, not chance. But truth is, I'm not lucky, I'm loved. Yeah, I'm not lucky, I'm loved. I'm not lucky, I'm loved. I'm not lucky, I'm loved.
Still ahead, on Studio 5, Rashad's New York Giants teammates nicknamed him, quote,
No weapons formed against me shall prosper. No, it won't.
See why this song is a reminder of his favorite. Welcome back. Before we wrap this edition of Studio 5, let's take a sneak peek now at what's coming up for you next week.
Buddy, bless you. This happens frequently here too.
CBS sportscaster James Brown is shrinking. We see JB sitting here today, and we see JB 1 to 2 years ago. I've heard people joke, you're half the man that you used to be.
And you've heard the athletes joke, right? But go ahead.
Learn the spiritual secret behind JB's physical transformation. That's coming next week. It's time now for this week's final word, and we're giving that to the man of the hour, Rashad Jennings.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
One of my favorite scriptures is, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I feel like everyone has been called by God specifically to do something. And Satan has tactics and tricks, and one of his ultimate tricks is making you feel insignificant. I believe one of Satan's tricks is to make you feel like you can't do God's work until you're perfect. Scripture reminds us that God only uses imperfect people. So who are you gonna believe? And remember, we're all on the same boat. And so I encourage everybody to go do what God's called you to do.
Go do what God has called you to do. No more excuses. That is the final word for this edition of Studio 5, but the show continues 24/7 with uplifting updates on Facebook and Instagram. You can also reach out and touch me at Ephraim Graham on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And then you come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.